Hello and welcome to the Popcorn Counter here at the Two Real Cinema Club. I'm James Rosica.
And I'm Andres Lorente, and there are not a lot of people here.
Where is everybody? We are it. I can't believe even Dave, who normally serves the popcorn, isn't here tonight.
It's quiet.
Nobody here.
Yeah, but what's going on?
I think, well, we have talked about this before. I think we might be watching live in colour the death of cinema. Because yes, there is nobody here. I do worry about exhibition. I don't know whether we talked about this a few months ago. There was a story in the press where I think more than 50% of exhibitors, when surveyed, expressed scepticism that their industry would still exist in 5 years' time. I don't know. Cinema has existed for so long. Are we seeing the end of it?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, and thank God for a bit of confidence.
Yes, end of Popcorn Counter.
See you next week, folks. Thanks.
I think it's a little hysterical, but I like I like talking about it once in a while. Yeah,
there's something which I did. I sent you a link this week, which is about Mystery Mondays. So Cineplex are starting Mystery Mondays, and my local Odeon actually does something similar. Where you pay a little bit less for your ticket. Yeah, you go to a screening on Monday evening, and you don't know what you're going to see. Yeah, so they just promise it will be a new film. But we won't tell you what it is.
Yeah, what new film, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I haven't done it yet, but it sounds like a blast. I mean, I can't do it because it's a Monday and we're recording a podcast. Yeah, but otherwise, I think this sounds like an absolutely fantastic idea. I would love more screenings like that.
But did this come from the Canadians? This was a Canadian thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it might have been a Canadian. I think the link that I read was Canadian.
Yeah, see, the Doomsday Canadians. They're so pessimistic up there that they're this is the death of cinema and we're the great Canadians. We're going to fix everything with our crazy ideas.
Well, but could we come up with a better idea? That's what I want. And I want to know we've established this over many, many podcasts. You're an intelligent man, clever, resourceful, full of ideas. How would we? And by we, I mean mostly you, and I'll ride on your coattails. How would we, and I'm drawing inverted commas in the air here, how would we, that means you, save cinema?
I would make it more local, I think. I think that's kind of the future ultimately. I think what's happened is it's become very generic, and it's basically the blockbusters and the big franchises that are getting the play in the theaters. And I think it's just become a very generic experience. I just don't think it's unique in any certainly in the United States. It's not that unique an experience. It's all the same. The buildings look the same, the theaters look the same, the food's the same, the movies are the same. So I think it needs to get more local. I think I'd like to see...
When you said more local, I thought you meant you'd have to build a cinema closer to my house. But that's not what you mean.
No. Well, it's kind of what I would throw that in there too. I think these because I think the original lure of cinema was partly community. I mean, you'd have a theater house or a movie house downtown, and you get the black and white film playing, and people are in there with their neighbors, and they're laughing at the thing and throwing popcorn around and all that. I mean, we see some of that not right now because you said the Minecraft film, there was popcorn and some chickens and stuff. So I think that kind of atmosphere is relevant because I think that that's the way a lot of the old movie house pictures were. And also I think, like my mother used to talk about double features. Even in my hometown, there are two movie houses, and they would have, double features. You could go down and it was a dime and you could spend basically the whole day down there. So I think making it more of a community experience is what's going to bring people out. As it is right now, it's more and more individualized. We get these stadium seats. We just sit there and either fall asleep or just gorge ourselves on food during a movie. And I think it's just not that unique. Whereas like the energy and the enthusiasm of a crowd is valuable. And, and I've noticed, especially since COVID, very often there are 10 or 12 people in the theater. And I think that's what people are thinking about is the death of cinemas, because we're watching much more stuff at home. But I think people do want to go out and they do want to be in community. So I think, smaller movie houses. I mean, it's the same crap I say episode after episode. It's been capitalized. It's just a couple of movie companies making big budget films, playing them in these corporate-owned movie theaters with 16 screens. I think that's what's destroyed cinema. So I think, I'm lucky. I live in a neighborhood where the museum shows films. There's a gallery that shows films. I've got a quasi Cineplex in the neighborhood. There's a warehouse where they show films. So, I mean, those are great experiences, and I think people would respond to that more than just being treated like any other cattle going into a theater and, I'm going to buy $12 worth of popcorn and sit in the seat, watching the same, action film or superhero film that I saw, but with a different character 6 months ago. So I think that's what it is. It has to be more local. And I think that would help filmmakers, too, because it would give venues to people who are making films that are more relevant to the people in the communities. But maybe that's all socialist bullcrap. So what's your take?
We've just voted against socialism, haven't we? Socialism is officially, legally a dirty word now, isn't it? I think
it's coming back.
Coming back. So I agree that the best place to see a movie is not just in a movie theater, not just in a cinema, but in a packed movie theater.
Yeah.
You can't beat that experience. And I agree with you. I think people do want to go out and have these great experiences.
Yeah.
But when you go to the warehouse that shows movies, are they packed? Are people going?
Yeah, they are.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually they are.
So is it rammed in there?
Yeah. There have been times where I had to stand for 8.5 a while back. I mean, it's like, and then they're showing
oh my God. Surely
films.
that's only the sort of thing that happens in Portland, Maine.
It's a long film, too, to stand for. I think they are. And by comparison, the theaters that I go to are not packed. And I think cost is a part of it. Like when you're making a $300 million film, I understand why they're charging, I don't know what they're charging in London right now, but it's like $12, $14 to see a film. You've basically taken people of middle class and lower class people out of the theaters.
Yeah.
I work with under-resourced kids. I was asking them today how often one of the exercises they're doing, how often do you go to the movies? And I think a lot of it is, they're streaming, they're watching stuff on their phones. But I think, at $12, they're not going to spend $12 to go see a movie.
Yeah.
So the Surprise Monday thing, if the tickets, I think the more important thing is not that it's a surprise, it's that the ticket price is also, I think, lower, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, we don't want to overlook that.
So you don't know what you're going to see, but you pay less.
Yeah. I mean, it shouldn't be more than $10, honestly. So I think prices are part of the problem. And I think, when you've got a brick and mortar 16-screen Cineplex, you've got a lot of overhead. And that's why we're paying $16 a film. And you go to New York City, it's $20 to see a film or something like that. I think that's
too much, yeah.
I think that's a big part of the problem is that everything has to be so big now that means the prices are big. And ironic, well, it shouldn't be ironic at all, but the audiences are no longer big. Yep.
I mean, it's interesting that movies cost so very, very much. Begonia, which we watched last week, I think the budget, I suppose it was $55 million, I think. And you are slightly questioning yourself, saying, well, what did they spend $55 million on?
Yeah, exactly.
And I suppose there are some big sets, at the very end of that movie, but it's difficult to really explain why you had to spend $55 million.
Yeah.
Previous attempts to try and revive, to resuscitate, to defibrillate cinema have generally been like the opposite of what you suggest, which is not making it cheaper, but making it more expensive.
Yeah.
Certainly in this country, they've tried to revive cinema with things like technology. So IMAX.
Yeah.
So our local multiplex now, the Odeon, it has a number of semi-IMAX. I mean, they bill it as IMAX. It's a bigger screen. I don't think it's the same as not as big as 8 double-decker buses or whatever, like the big IMAX films are supposed to be.
Yeah.
But it's a bigger screen, and they charge more money for it. Does that work? Does it make the film better? I mean, we went to see Avatar: The Way of Water at the IMAX screen, the biggest screen in the UK or whatever. It didn't make the film any better.
No.
Made the film feel a bit longer, I think. Or the other thing that they have is this 4D cinema where you sit in a seat which jolts you around.
Yeah.
We've been to that. And that was a fun family day out. I mean, it was a blast.
Yeah.
It was great. It was very entertaining, but it was only entertaining in the same way that, that having somebody repeatedly throw you in the air while you sat and watched The Empire Strikes Back, that would be entertaining. Does it necessarily add to the artistic experience? Yeah. I'm not sure that it does.
Yeah.
But, you compare an extra $20 a seat, to get chucked around in the air and lose your popcorn. So, generally, the solutions to save cinema have involved spending more money and not less. Have you heard of Secret Cinema? Have you done that?
No.
So this is I think this is a UK company where they do screenings, usually of well-loved classics, but they have a whole bunch of actors, and they dress the cinema.
Oh.
So, for example, someone I knew went to see a secret cinema screening of Blade Runner, but everybody had to dress cyberpunk. Oh. And they had a whole bunch of actors dressed as cyberpunk, serving drinks and serving snacks and milling around and kind of being in character.
Yeah.
And it was all kind of like a little bit misty and smoky, and they dressed it with neon lights. And then eventually, after an hour of milling around and having a drink and it's soaking up the cyberpunk atmosphere, you went in and you watched the movie, and it made it like a really big event.
Yeah.
That sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
But it is expensive and elaborate.
Yes.
Whereas maybe I've got a couple of ideas to how to save cinema which are small. I mean, you talk about like you don't you have a local cinema club that shows prints on 16mm?
Yep. Canonic. Yep.
It's a warehouse. Like these little cinemas where it's something which is kind of local and small.
Yeah.
But it feels like there's a sense of belonging. It just doesn't feel distant and corporate and like you're in a factory or a sausage machine or whatever.
Yeah.
Personality, I think, exhibition with personality.
Yeah.
I think is partly what could win people over.
Yeah. I think people want a special experience, something that's kind of curated. And the note I had before we even started talking, I put down microcinemas. So here we have these we have these micro.
Did you make that up? Did you just make that up? That's brilliant.
I think we've done a pod on this before. I feel like I've been talking about it a lot. So, but I think microcinemas. It started like on the microbrewery theme. Here we've got a lot of these small breweries that serve their own beer, and they're very, very popular. And it's important to note that a lot of them actually show movies too, so that the atmosphere is there. And I think there's got to be more culture invested in it. Like you can get a beer at a film, you can get a cup of coffee at a film. People can talk about films afterwards if there's a space in the cinema where people can sit down and have food or drink, as opposed to just the food you get at a cinema is generally crap, right? People come out for food too. So candy and popcorn with, I think, mostly artificial butter, right, at this point?
Right. It's not real.
So I think there just needs to be more culture about it. It needs to be a more curated experience, and it just needs to feel special, because people do not feel special driving a car, parking in a parking lot, walking into this massive theater to watch a film that everyone else is watching. There's nothing unique about it. There's nothing special about it. I also think there's just this element of ebbing and flowing. I think right now we're in this glued to our computers and watching crap on phones and laptops, and eventually people are going to say, hey, you know what? I went to the movie theater the other night. It was incredible. They have big screens and big stereo sound. And I think that's sure to sort of come back around to us, I think. So I think right now we're just in the depths of telephone addiction and computer addiction and internet addiction, and I think eventually that's going to get really boring. I mean, for me, it's always been boring, but I think a lot of people are going to come around and feel like, it's just that next generation that says, oh my God, that's weird. It's vinyl. There's a music, and I put it on a piece of black circular plastic on. I mean, then they freak out, and then all of a sudden they're spending money on it. So I think it probably comes back around to being super popular, and we're just kind of in one of those flow moments, I guess. Or is it an ebb moment? I don't even know. There's ebb and flow.
Are we waxing or waning right
waxing,
now?
There you go.
I can't remember. I have there are sort of methods to try and move the needle, aren't there?
Yeah.
Like one of the goals that the UK government has is to try and get people out of cars and into public transport.
Yeah.
That's something we have in Europe, public transport. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Oh, not enough.
But the problem is people like their cars, so enticing them out of their cars and onto the train is quite hard. One idea I had for how to get people onto the train is, well, what if you just told everybody you get a free ice cream if you go on the train?
Yes.
And you just commit to that. Well, we're just going to give everybody a free ice cream when they get on the train. And obviously it won't be free because it will be sort of factored into your ticket.
Yeah.
And some people won't want the free ice cream. But this notion that something appears to be free and is fun might make a big difference to how people vote with their feet.
Yes.
And I wonder whether we could not just do the same with cinema. Why not just say, well, the ticket price is the same, but you get free ice cream.
Yeah.
And suddenly you have to beat people off from the. No, that's something different. You'd have to walk people away from. It would be crowded. Is what I'm trying to say. Be crowded. Lots of people will go.
Yes.
So people love something for nothing. If you give people free snacks, I mean, if you would give people free popcorn, that would be like an invitation to turn every movie into the Minecraft movie.
Yes, that's
because if the popcorn hasn't been paid for, it has no value, and you wouldn't feel bad about throwing it all over the place. But something like an ice cream, which is small and intimate, and and sort of quality. Give everybody a free ice cream when they come to the cinema. I think you get people through the door. I think it will pay for itself immediately.
Yes. I don't know if you have this in on the trains or the buses in England, but on the buses, I take a bus down to New York City, and they show, I think I see 3 movies on the way down to New York City. Something like that. So there are screens on, and I saw this when I lived in Ecuador too. In Ecuador, it's pretty primitive. At some point, it was like just a television that had been strapped to some poles at the front of the bus, and they would show a video. But we have screens on the buses, and I mean, maybe that solves 2 problems with the one stone sort of situation, where you're seeing a movie. We're reviving the movie industry. You're seeing a movie on the bus, and people are getting on the buses and out of the cars and into the movie theaters, kind of the bus movie theaters.
2 for 1. That's genius. Yeah. Not bad.
I think another thing that we probably could talk about is distribution, because I think there are a lot more good films out there that just aren't getting played in the way distribution works. You're looking for the big films. You're trying to make big money on top of big money, so you're booking only the films that are super well known, are going to draw someone with an actor or an actress or something like that. So I think in part it's just what actually gets distributed in the film industry. Because if we saw some smaller films that are much cheaper and potentially much better, ticket prices could come down. People would be exposed to more film, and I think they'll just encourage a much wider variety of filmmaking. So I think distribution probably has a big role to play.
I mean, there was a trend about 30 years ago for vertical integration, wasn't there, where suddenly the studios were also buying distributors and buying exhibitors.
Exactly.
And so, the same people then were making the movie, distributing the movie, exhibiting the movie, selling you the popcorn and cleaning up the hot dog wrappers at the end.
Yeah.
And surprise, surprise, it turns out that's just been terribly damaging for the industry as a whole. Who would have thought it?
Who would have thought?
But it's now that we are paying the price for that.
Yeah.
It's almost like there's some trend around the whole world that the rich people get richer and the poor people get poorer.
Oh my God, I had never thought about that.
I have then talking about trends around the world. I have one other suggestion, which seems to me so obvious.
Yeah.
I can't believe that everybody isn't doing it. It seems incredibly obvious to me. The way to save cinema is that you use the tool of internet streaming against it. So, these days I dread to add up how much I pay every month to Netflix and Disney and Amazon, and occasionally, somebody else as well, for the privilege of flicking through the channels and realizing there's nothing I want to watch. I think we should try and encourage a subscription model for cinema. If you get people to subscribe, then it's guaranteed income for the exhibitor.
Yeah.
And people would be more inclined to go because they've already paid for it.
Oh, yeah. Subscriptions.
And if your subscription price is only about the price of one cinema ticket, then you feel on average, I suspect most people do not go to the movies 12 times a year. But if you have a subscription, if you go more than once a month, you feel like you're getting one over on the man. Because you're getting, you're only paying effectively for one ticket. You've seen 2 movies, or even 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And yet it would mean more guaranteed income for the exhibitor.
Yeah.
It seems like a no-brainer. I don't know why they aren't pushing that super hard. I do see adverts for the Odeon sort of annual pass. So we've got one. We've had one this year. And it's been great for the first time ever.
Huh.
I think this is the way that we'll save cinema is by getting people to pay for it every month. I do it for Netflix and just forget about it. So why not do it for the Odeon and actually enjoy it?
Yeah. I think that's low-hanging fruit. You're right. That's easy. I would pay $10 a month and then $2 per film or something like that, right?
Oh, good. Nice. Okay.
So if someone uses a lot, I mean, they're guaranteed $120 out of me. I'll definitely get my value out of that. And then, I don't know, maybe the second, third, maybe it goes up or goes down a little bit in price for each additional film you see. But you're guaranteed one at basically a decent rate, $10, and then all of a sudden you're seeing these other films in the ensuing weeks for what, $3, $2, $1, whatever. Yes, you're right.
And if people are prepared to pay for a gym they don't use, they must be able to be prepared to pay for a cinema that they might.
Yeah, it just has to be. You just have to make sure your location is in a place where people can go back pretty easily. Or if you're sinister, you don't want them to come back too often. Either way. I think, if just going back to the original idea, Surprise Mondays, because I hate 90% of the films I see, I think I would never do a surprise film. Because I would be guaranteed to not like it. I'd find something to complain about. So that doesn't work for me, but some people who just love going to the movies and love seeing all the mainstream picks, I think that it's a great thing.
It's fun to be surprised sometimes. And sometimes maybe the price of that is disappointment sometimes.
I mean, I rarely go to a film without knowing something about it. So I think that's the problem for me is I'd feel uncomfortable.
You're so sensible.
Yeah.
You say you feel uncomfortable, but probably not as uncomfortable as if you went to see a 4D cinema movie and someone jiggled you about while you tried to watch Empire Strikes Back. That's uncomfortable, and you pay extra for it.
Do you get a personal jiggler? Is there a human being actually doing the jiggling, or is it...
they say it's a hydraulic system, but I bet it's some unemployed youth, isn't it? Yeah, being paid minimum wage. I bet.
Community service, they've done something to get in trouble with the law, and then... The police and the judge say, okay, you can go jiggle these people at the cinema.
You see, now we've solved the problem of declining exhibition income and the problem of overcrowded prisons. This is a 3-for-1 tonight.
Oh,
God. And they say socialism has no future.
Oh, it is the future. It is the future.